Welcome to Marketplace Finds, where we show off some crazy and interesting cars for sale, judge what we think of the price, then order it in our tier list. A ridiculous amount of money was spent on this donk, and I'm having a hard time justifying it. An older classic, like a 71 Impala, 75 Caprice, or even a 73 Chevelle, would hold more value and turn more heads. It's a 1995 Chevrolet Impala SS that from the factory, it was already a street legend, but this one has gone above and beyond. The paint is insanely clean. It's some sort of green-blue chameleon metallic that could blind airline pilots if you park too close to a runway. The paint is so glossy, you don't need mirrors anymore. Just walk outside and check your reflection in the door panel. Then there's the wheels. Forgiatos the size of third wheel debt. These aren't just rims, these are chrome statements. Each one's basically a billboard that says, "This mortgage payment spins." And if you thought the outside was wild, check out the interior. We're talking blue suede everywhere, gator skin seats, a redonkulous amount of speakers, and the cherry on top, the Forgiato steering wheel. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of rate it. Pop the trunk and you'll find a 4-stack of amps next to some huge subs ready to rearrange your internal organs. Weirdly enough, under the hood is probably the least modified part. It's got the stock V8 with a chrome alternator and some headers to make some extra noise. The seller says 80,000 went into this build, including 15,000 on the paint job, and now it's up for grabs at 30k, which means 50,000 has already evaporated in the form of chrome receipts, custom paint, and poor financial decisions. This next one is straight out of the Do Not Get in the Van handbook. It's a 1986 Chevy G20 dressed like a Hot Topic employee who aged into a parole officer. It's had the backyard rattle can special, I assume to quickly change the colour because they had to escape the police. It's mainly patchy black with a nice pink line all around, but the main event of this nightmare is the interior. If the handprint stickers on the window didn't give it away. We've got psychedelic tapestry ceiling, shag carpet, 2 extremely gross looking seats, and a Hulk plushie likely to lure kids in. I literally don't think we have seen an interior shot that screams crime scene quite like this one does. They are only after $1,200, which is honestly a steal, but I'd rather give it to the police so they can solve whatever cases are associated with it. This is a 1971 Volkswagen Beetle chop top, or what happens when you leave a stock Beetle in the dryer on high heat for too long. It came out shorter, flatter, and way more aggressive, and is one of those builds you'll either love or hate. The roofline is so low, you don't drive this car, you wear it like a fitted cap. And forget blind spots, this whole thing is a blind spot. Every lane change is probably like you're sticking your head out of a doggy door hoping for the best. It's got a beautiful candy blue paint job that would make a Pepsi can look washed out, but the graphics designs can only be described as 1990s bowling alley carpet and needs to go. Around back, the engine bay is rocking a 1600cc engine with neon green tinware and a huge 60 ponies. Stepping inside, you're met with a dash slathered in the same candy blue, which confirms this thing has had a full complete respray, which means a lot of money was spent on that alone. Other than that, it's got an upgraded stereo system, some new gauges, and depressing looking grey seats to match. The seller is asking for $10,000, which in all honesty doesn't seem too bad of a deal for this quality of work. This next vehicle, the seller calls it the Chuck Norris of vans, but let's be honest, Chuck Norris at least starts on the first try. This thing needs a motor, transmission, and apparently a group of bad mofos just to get it out of the driveway. So really, it's more like the Steven Seagal of vans, and as you've seen, it's got brown paint that looks like it was applied with a Hershey bar. This bad boy has seen some off-roading too, sitting on some 33s and a 4-inch lift. It's even got parts like a winch and some spotlights ready to add back on. On the inside there's plywood lining the walls with stickers slapped on like a 12-year-old skateboard. There's random junk scattered everywhere and some seats that look like they were ripped out of the cheapest airline ready to cramp up your legs in no time. Inside the cockpit, beside the gaping hole left by the missing engine and transmission, there's a somehow clean looking dash and a hula girl who looks like she's been stuck dancing since Carter was president. For the $4,500 asking price, there's no way in hell I'd be buying it unless you happen to find a junkyard engine swap going cheap.
Give me a hell yeah!
Normally when I see a truck with a paint job like this, I'm ready to roast it. The pinstriping, the candy flake, the whole check me out, I've been parked at a car show since 2012 isn't usually my style. But man, I can't even hate on this one. It's a 2005 Chevy 1500 that's been built to the nines and it is clean. Not just washed before the photo's clean, this thing looks like the owner spends every weekend polishing it with a toothbrush and baby oil. It's slammed to the ground on air ride, sitting on 26-inch wheels so massive they could double as dinner plates at a Vegas buffet. Even ants have to duck to walk under this thing. The interior keeps the theme going, with brown leather upholstery and a slick custom dash and door cards that ties it all together. It's not some halfway Craigslist build with wires hanging out and a Walmart seat cover. This looks dialed in front to back. The only bummer on this build is there's no shots of the engine bay and no mention of what's under the hood, so I'm guessing it might be factory, with only 53,000 miles as well, so it's barely broken in. The seller was asking for $25,000, and although it's higher than what I'd pay, someone else thought it was worth it and snapped it up fast. Behold the Hulk-inspired 1994 GMC Yukon painted in radioactive Hulk green with the big guy himself airbrushed on the doors, who unfortunately has found a new enemy being the sun. Thankfully the rest of the paint job has held up a bit better, rocking the classic 90s lines, and for some reason a bunch of seemingly random logos all over. It's rocking a 6-inch lift and 36-inch super swampers that could double as lifeboats on the Titanic, which is relevant because it probably drives like it too. Under the hood you've got a classic 350 small block V8. It runs, it drives, it shakes, and the seller says it goes good, but the glowing check engine and brake lights suggest otherwise. Other than that, you get a badass Hulk fist shifter and seats that look like they were stolen from a McDonald's in the 60s. The seller wants $7,500, which is a little high, but if you're missing some social interaction, I'm sure all the gas station crackheads will love to talk to you about it. Alright, buckle up because it's clown car time, literally. What we've got here is a 2005 Chevy Monte Carlo SS that someone turned into a low-budget Joker origin story. And I know what you're thinking, didn't we as a society agree to stop making Joker cars in 2012? Apparently not, because here it is in all its purple and neon green glory. First off, let's talk about these photos. Every single one was taken at night, probably because even the owner knows daylight would expose this thing for the crime against humanity it is. The interior photos are about as bad as the exterior ones, and all it really does is highlight how bad tan and purple don't go together. Forget investments, forget reliable daily drivers. What you really need is a poorly painted Monte Carlo for $4,000 that you'll regret buying in a couple years when your brain matures further. The first gen RX-7 was all about balance and lightweight precision. This is about as balanced as a Jenga tower on a trampoline. It's a 1984 Mazda RX-7 now sitting on 35-inch mud tires and has a Chevy 350 V8 crammed into where a rotary once lived. Now, I'll be honest, as an RX-7 purist, it hurts a little to see the heart of the car ripped out like a stolen kidney in a motel bathtub. But to be fair, a 12A rotary isn't exactly the engine you want when you're buried to the doors in mud. That thing would be out there screaming to 9,000 RPM just to move a set of ATV tires, let alone swampers. It's lifted to the sky, so hopefully its rough body will be spared from any more damage, but I think we all know that's a false hope. It's listed up for only $2,500, and just like a goth girl, I think I can fix her. Here we have a 2006 Mitsubishi Eclipse GS, or as I like to call it, the LaCroix of sports cars. It's slower, uglier, and less reliable than its much more desirable younger brother. But you already know the type that own these act like they are driving a Formula 1 car. Let's talk about the DBZ mural first, because bro really paid someone to spray Goku across the side like that was going to add horsepower. But I mean, at least it's not sun faded yet, and nothing sells a car quite like a photo of it on the back of a tow truck too. Chances are the only thing that's over 9,000 here is the repair bill. However, the interior looks very clean, and I do rate the Dragon Ball shift knob. The seller calls this their dream car. Yeah, the kind of dream where you wake up sweating because your car payment just went to waste and your Eclipse is crying coolant all over the driveway. They are only after $1,400, which seems cheap until you find out it's because it's not only got that busted bumper and headlight, but also a blown head gasket. Next up, we have a bit of a palate cleanser after seeing those other nightmares. What you're looking at is a 1948 Ford F1 panel van that's been turned into a rolling piece of hot rod art. It's got that perfect blend of old school curves with modern comfort and reliability, and it honestly looks like it rolled straight out of a car magazine. The patina style turquoise paint with faux rust is just killer. It nails that vintage shop truck vibe without actually being rotted out underneath. As you can see from the logos, it was owned by a distillery company, and whoever did the design work obviously wasn't drinking their own supply. And yeah, it might get you pulled over by the police a bit more than you'd like, but I'm sure a quick paint job can cover those up. Under the hood, there's none of that flathead hope it starts business. This thing is running a Ford 4.6 litre V8 that even has working AC. Open up the doors and you're hit with a shock. Instead of the crusty interior you'd expect, it's been fully redone in clean tan leather and carpet. We've got plush power seats, a touchscreen stereo up front so you can bump Spotify playlists instead of fiddling with a static filled AM radio, and a fresh dash. The seller's asking $29,000, and honestly, that feels about right. You'd spend double that trying to build one this nice from scratch. This next one, the seller uploaded exactly 4 photos, and every single one is just this ridiculous fold out wall of speakers that looks like NASA is about to use it to contact aliens. And the vehicle of choice they decided to cram this into is a 2004 Honda Odyssey. That's right, someone looked at one of the OG soccer mum minivans and for whatever reason thought it needed an insane wall of speakers. For this rolling noise complaint, they are after $6,500. Let me know if you think it's worth it with all the speakers. Next we have this 1960 Morris Minor delivery van, and I'm not gonna lie, it's mainly in this video because a certain family member of mine has had one rotting out in their front yard for the last 10 years, and I'm hoping this gives them a bit of inspiration. It's been repainted in a sinister flat black paint with red pinstriping like any good reborn hot rod should be. There's no rust, no dents, no evidence of its past life as a plumber's apprentice. Now, Morris Minors usually came with a wheezy little 948cc engine that could barely outrun a mobility scooter, but under the hood here, somebody stuffed in a 4.3 litre Chevy V6 with a 4-barrel Harley carb, so now this bread delivery van can actually keep up with traffic. The interior is crazy clean, being reupholstered in black, and unlike my family member's one, doesn't look like it smells of asbestos. The seller wants $18,000, which is a fair bit higher than what I think it's worth, even though it's clean, and a fair bit of work has gone into it. This little goober right here is a 1996 Daihatsu Midget, which is not only one of my favourite Japanese K cars, but quite easily the weirdest pickup truck you'll ever see. From the front, it looks like a frog that just realised it missed rent day with its 2 round googly-eyed headlights sticking out like it's perpetually shocked to even be on the road. Not only that, but it's got the spare tyre mounted directly on the nose, like the car's wearing a giant clown nose. The side profile doesn't make it any better. It's so short and stubby, it looks like somebody pressed shrink on Photoshop. The truck bed is about big enough to carry a 6-pack, maybe a single bag of groceries if you squeeze. Forget hauling lumber, as you'd be lucky to haul lunch. Inside, it's all business if the business is going bankrupt. There's one grey vinyl seat, a steering wheel that looks like it came from a Fisher-Price playset, and a gauge cluster that maxes out at a sad 75 miles per hour. It hilariously has a manual gearbox, and it's hooked up to the classic K-Car special 660cc engine, so you won't be overtaking anyone unless the person in front of you is walking with a limp. So if you're in the market for one of these goofy but rare machines, it's listed up for only $8,800, which is honestly a steal at that price. Every car has a stereotype, like Ultimas are for people who like to cut other cars off, G35s are for vape god wannabes who peaked in high school, and then there's the 350Z crew, the guys who think a windshield banner adds 50 horsepower. This one in particular has got a massive wing bolted on the back, like it's about to provide enough downforce to keep Spirit Airlines in business. A carbon hood that I honestly don't hate, and even the rims match the car quite nicely. The interior hits a few more stereotypes, such as the giant Snapchat sticker on the dash, because nothing says future DUI defendant like broadcasting your social media handle on a car that can't outrun a stock Camry. The only thing it shares in common with 1320 is that it probably makes 130 decibels from the straight piped exhaust. Roasting and joking aside, these really aren't bad cars, and even this one isn't too bad compared to some of the other Zs we've seen. It's got the manual gearbox too, and for the $8,500 asking price, it is honestly more reasonable than I expected. Here's how the final tier list ended up. Let us know what we got right, what we got wrong, if there's anything you'll change around. Thanks for watching another episode. If you're new to our channel from our shorts, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode.